Hello, everybody, and welcome from the South Carolina studios. It's Moohead Radio, and joining me is my buddy Matt Ogden, who sat up for all 9 innings of the Indians game yesterday. Weren't you happy you did?
Well, I guess the Indians haven't learned their lesson. They still use Kluber like the whole 9 innings.
You know, I
8 innings to 9. But
yeah, I mean, they were in the game. They want to get him one. He only threw 91 pitches for the whole game. I mean, he hung 2 pitches. That's what it amounted to. This is how Corey Kluber loses. When the Cleveland Indians score, I think it's 4 runs or more, he never loses. He's won like 59 games in a row. I mean, this is how he loses. He hangs a ball to Cano, and he hangs a ball to Nelson Cruz. Ball game. I mean, and then, of course, we have to watch the Indians try to struggle for the entire game just to piece together a few hits. And,
yeah, we got teased that we were going to come back and possibly hit a base hit and have the lead, but we all knew what was going to happen.
It always happens that way.
Yep.
And
it's just a teaser. Just don't believe into it.
God, I mean, how pathetic was Naquin against King Felix? I mean, why don't you just go up there and just golf it off the ground there, Tyler? I mean, it's like, guess who's going back to AAA with no options, Tyler? Yeah, that outfield, you can't have all left-handed hitting outfielders. Here's Bronk joining us from England.
Hey.
Merry old England joining us on the program.
I watched that game too. It ended at 5:45 in the morning my time. I had a nap though earlier in the night.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was pretty sorry stuff, and you knew once, the Indians couldn't jump on Hernandez. You knew that once Kluber falls behind, they won't support him. They never score runs for the guy. When he loses, he wins. I mean, a 91 pitch complete game, and it's an L. Yeah. I mean, that's the Indians, and on opening day, every time they play, and you wait till they come back to Cleveland. They're already saying that a week from now, it's going to be in the 30s.
Oh, I know. I'm going to be there on Tuesday.
I mean, can you imagine, Ramirez and Lindor and Encarnacion? It's like, we are from the islands. Oh, no, I'm not going. Why don't you build me an igloo? No, it's like, no.
Hey, Manny Acta was there last night.
Manny Acta. Here we go with Manny Acta. Matt, you've never heard my Manny Acta.
Oh, you got to hear Manny Acta.
Manny Acta. Okay, Manny Acta. I have to dredge this up from my soul. Well, you know, Matt, you knew what was going to happen the second it happened out there. You know that Nelson Cruz take a big swing at the baseball. It go 400 feet. You know Bradley Zimmer, I don't care if he's 9'6", he ain't going to catch that ball. It go over the wall, gone. I mean, and he circled the bases, and you know what I did? I looked up at my wife, and it's terrible because she's been dead for 3 years. I looked up at my wife, and I said, ball game! And that was when I managed the Cleveland Indians, this is the way it was. I mean, you give up 2 runs, the game is over. I did not have Encarnacion. I did not have any of these players, There were no Francisco Lindor, no Jose Ramirez for me. You know what kind of crappy players? Jelly fucking Duncan they give me. What do I need that slow piece of shit in the outfield for? That's the guy who threw his glove up once and it ball fell into it, and he was the most amazed one in the ballpark.
Oh, Johnny fucking Damon. Johnny
Damon with the slow bat, the wrong version. Yeah.
Look who joined the party.
Hey, Stephen, how you doing? I'm just doing my Manny Acta caricature, the former manager of the Cleveland Indians, who is perpetually bitter about the fact that he never had a chance to win with the Indians because he had lousy players. So,
you guys lost 2-1 yesterday. It was 2-0 for 6 or 7 innings. You guys managed to
What? Oh, I'm sorry. I was sleeping. I never slept so well as I did last night. Seriously. I mean,
so who's pitching tomorrow for the Indians?
That would be Carrasco. Yeah.
Yep.
Carlos
And then
Carrasco.
Bauer will be pitching the finale against the Mariners.
Yep, and then Clevenger comes back on Monday. Clevenger threw some AAA ball and did pretty well. And Michael Brantley hit a home run in AAA, which that's where he belongs. I think he's found his sweet spot.
He's found his niche.
yeah, he won't get injured down there, and he can just kind of go out at half speed and hit 40 home runs in AAA. Oh my God! So
we got the serious banjo hitting outfield right now, don't we?
Oh.
If Zimmer doesn't get hits, man, we got like King Banjo. You know, Naquin is not a big league ball player.
I've already drummed him out of my mind.
He is not a big league. And then, how many years do we have to watch Chisenhall? How many years?
Lonnie Chisenfuck. You know, here's the deal. I thought Naquin in his first at bat against Hernandez was impersonating the umpire cleaning off home plate. What's he swinging at? It's like
the ground after time. I was like, what's the hell about?
Yeah, this ball's not in the same zip code as his bat is. Yeah.
The most interesting part of that entire game was watching those announcers eat grasshoppers.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, they ate grasshoppers.
Grasshoppers. That was the only.
Yeah.
Who, Matt Blunderwood? Did they make Matt Blunderwood eat those?
No. These are the ESPN guys. That horrible catcher from the Cubs, Ross, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they were up Ichiro's butt the entire game.
Oh well.
It was his comeback game for as American.
Yeah, well, whatever. You know, the guy's 44.
No, they released him. They released him from the Alzheimer's ward to play once in left field. Booyah, booyah. You know,
they got him out of retirement home.
Yeah, exactly right. And I don't know if you read that article. The Sports Illustrated did a really interesting article about Ichiro. Yeah,
it was interesting. Huh?
They said that he is like OCD to the max. The reason he was such a great hitter is that in his personal life, he's like completely OCD, and he's completely unable to accept the fact that his skills are diminished. I don't know why they're encouraging him in Seattle, because no team in the all of baseball offered him a job except, and he didn't even get any offers from Japan.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean,
he is a weirdo, man. He is seriously weird.
Yeah, but at 44, he doesn't play very well anymore. And this is the end of the road where you have your farewell trot around Safeco Field. That's it. It's done.
Said something about he wanted to play till he's like 50 years old or something.
Yeah, they said that.
And you know something? I wanted to fuck Julia Roberts. That was many years ago, and it never fucking happened. Get over it. I mean, Ichiro has had all of this success. What more does he want? What a career he's had. But
for the record, Julia Roberts was hot and Runaway Bride, and the other one where she was a prostitute. Remember? I can't remember that one.
Pretty Woman, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know who was prettier though, her or Richard Gere.
Good job.
Thank you very much. Seriously, Ichiro's had a great career, and I think that is precisely where it should. People got to know when the end comes, and I guess
That's never true.
I don't understand
when it's time to hang up.
Yeah. All right. I'm in the chat.
Wow, it's a full team.
Oh, who jumped in here?
What's up, fellas?
Oh my God! It's the singing waiter.
The singing waiter. No, you don't want to hear me sing, man.
Neither do your customers. That's why you're a waiter.
That's it.
So, any leads on any action movies?
No, not yet. I mean, I've been going out a lot these past few weeks on commercial auditions, but nothing theatrically.
I was going to say, if anyone you run into needs like a fat walk-on, I give great walk-on.
It would be worth the money for you to catch a flight out here, though. But yeah,
it would be funny as hell for me to be like in the background, like what Hitchcock did in his movies, where he.
I know the perfect movie for you. You could do a walk-on role. The Dickie V story. You could be one of his neighbors.
Yeah, I've heard you working on the impression here last week.
Yeah, I called TLC Network to see if I could be a walk-on My 600-Pound Life.
Oh, come on now. You guys be good?
That's my favorite show on television.
I think one of them that was from Houston, he passed away.
Oh,
Really?
I think of his name. He had lost some weight though, and then he passed away.
Wait, I'll do my Dr. Now impression. Wait a minute. This is Dr. Now whenever he first lays eyes on a woman who weighs 600 pounds who comes into his office. My goodness, you are really a huge whale. You are one of the biggest whales I have ever seen in my life. I mean, so help me God. If you washed up on the beach in Galveston, I swear to God, an Eskimo would run out with a harpoon and would stab you. You want to know how fat you are? You are so fat. When you sit around the house, you sit around the house.
Oh.
Thank you, Ian. Yeah, Doctor Now. All right, enough. So at any rate, I don't really want to talk much. I mean, we will dabble with the Cleveland Indians first because, it was the first game, if you want to call it that. But it was really
turgid. SAT word.
I don't know. This is typical of the way it begins, and I agree. Chisenhall is a guy, and he's going to pull his calf again, and he doesn't even have a cow, and he's going to pull his calf. And then you're going to have Rajai Davis, who's he's the hope, right? 37-year-old guy.
Yeah, exactly. He's our pinch runner. He's like 5 years younger than Ichiro.
Wait, I'm going to do an impression now for you. This is Yandy Diaz, okay? Yandy Diaz. This is Yandy Diaz waiting for the phone to ring.
Oh, man.
That can't go on forever. I mean, we got to get somebody up there who can hit the baseball.
Are you guys hoping to get a win out of this series, or do you think you could still win the next two?
Oh, I mean, you'll win one out of the 3 games. The Indians never get off to a good start. The Indians are never a good April team. They're
horrible in April.
Yeah,
absolutely horrible. I mean, Donder Alonso, what's he going to do in April?
Yeah, what were you saying, Matt?
I said that's how it is with the Indians. We always start off slow in the beginning, and then near the end, we pick up the pace.
Well, and I think a lot of it, and this is not a racist comment, I think it's factual that we have a lot of Hispanic players that are warm weather players. I just think playing with lake effect weather in the end of March and the beginning of April doesn't exactly agree, with what these guys grew up with playing baseball. And I've never understood the wisdom. I know they have to get a spring training in, but playing games in artificially warm temperatures when you know that the first 2-3 weeks of the season are likely to be frigid, it really is weird for teams like Chicago and teams like Cleveland and teams that are Toronto. Well, Toronto plays in a dome, but I mean cold weather kinds of places, and instead we're all Arizona weather, and we're all ready, and we're hitting the cover off the ball and winning games in spring training, and we come up and
well, it's one game.
I want to introduce Stephen to what I already introduced Matt to, and Michael as well. Bronk is already aware. The South Carolina studio has many advantages, okay? For instance, Mr. Moohead's.
I'm laughing in anticipation here, but I know what's going to happen. I'm going to take my earpiece
the voice of God.
The voice of God.
The voice of God. Play somebody else. For God's sakes, play somebody else in right field and left field. So help me God. Do something, Lord. I have processing, so it's like she's the yellow rose of Texas. No, I'm not going to even go there.
I love the sound effects. But that's the beauty about baseball is you got 162 games, which is double the amount of basketball. So I mean, really, like the first 40 games of the season is equivalent to like 10 games in basketball, equivalent to like 3 games of football.
We got 161 more games to go, so there's a long
Yo.
ways away.
You got too many damn games.
You know what I wanted to do is just go on Twitter and just do the hot take. Well, there goes the season. Just to fucking piss people off. It's like, what an asshole. I'm not going to listen to his show. Don't worry. Nobody does anything.
Hey, weren't you, speaking of Ichiro, weren't you the guys the one that ruined Seattle's chances of becoming, having the most wins in a single season? Because I think they were up by 14 runs over you guys, right? And then
14-2 game where the Indians came back and won. That was that's one I will never forget.
If Seattle would have won that game, they would have finished the season with 119, which is more than 118 that's been accomplished twice by the Yankees and the Mariners. So if the Mariners would have won 119, that would have been a record-breaking setting year for any team in Major League history. And you guys, thanks to the Indians, you guys ruined it.
Well, I'm lucky.
Yeah, well, let's see how good Bronk and Matt are. Okay,
right.
The Indians against the Mariners in the greatest comeback in Indians history. Whose hit tied the game? Whose hit won the game?
Oh,
look at Bronk Googling.
Was it?
I think it's Vizquel. I think it's Vizquel.
I know this without Googling.
Is this the inaugural season at Jacobs Field?
No, it's like 1999.
Yeah, it was the game tying hit was a triple down the right field line by Omar Vizquel.
Omar Vizquel, yeah.
But the winner. Do you know, Matt?
Richie Sexton.
No, my God, you're in another era.
Richie Sexton was late 90s, early 2000s, right?
No,
not that early.
Richie Sexton never whiffed a winning season. Are you kidding me?
I thought he was there early 2000s. No.
Yeah, probably Juan Gonzalez.
Yeah, Juan Gon. Yeah, took one step to first base and his career ended. You mustn't forget that. No, the winner was Holbert Cabrera. With his weak little line drive over the shortstop's head, little blue.
Yeah, he fit in well in this outfield right now.
Was that the 8th or the 9th inning that you guys were down 14-2?
Oh God, it was the 7th. I think it was the 7th inning.
How many runs did you score?
Oh, well, obviously 13 to win. I don't know exactly how.
It wasn't done in one inning, though, right? It was.
Here we go.
No.
There's a YouTube clip of it.
Oh yeah,
I can play the audio of it.
You're gonna play the audio of it, okay?
Dude, because Seattle would have won that game, they would have had 119 at the end of the season. I mean, total. They could have went on as saying that they were the most they won the most games in a single season.
Whatever the fuck you're wearing around your neck, it looks like you won like a medal at a 4-H club.
Oh, it's a University of Texas lanyard.
Oh, okay. I thought it was.
Longhorns.
I thought you'd placed a cow like in the 4-H club. I want to start something on social media so everybody knows. I have this is for all cows, okay? For all people who relate to cows, and I am a cow. So if you relate to my cause or if you yourself relate to yourself as a cow, this is the slogan is "It sucks to be us," and this is the Moo Too movement, okay? So Moo Too.
Yeah, I think it'll take off.
Yeah, well, we're going to see how many people actually relate to cows on the internet. You never know. I might get wildlife groups who are like, wow, that guy's really ecologically sensitive. No, I'm a cow. All right. Next, Jeff Janis. Does anybody care to say anything about wide receiver Jeff Janis, who's caught 17 passes for 200 yards in his entire life, and this is a wide receiver the Browns have added?
They say he's going to be the gunner that's replacing Sammy Coates, who is unwilling to be a gunner on special teams. So I don't think we're really counting on him for any offensive production, but who knows? They say he's big and fast, like, also a TP replacement. So we'll see.
Well, Jeff Janis has played nothing but special teams basically for Green Bay for 4 years. And that's the way I see it. You know, this is a fight for roster space. And Sammy Coates, who's fast, can't catch the ball, injury prone, and a weak ass motherfucker. Those things put together do not land you on an NFL roster. However, being willing to sacrifice your life at a relatively young age by being the gunner on a special teams, you know, then that will get you somewhere. So I'd say that Jeff Janis, who is most famous for catching a Hail Mary pass from Aaron Rodgers in an amazing loss, it turned out, against the Arizona Cardinals, that Jeff Janis would never really have his name called again on a national broadcast. But the fact is that the Browns are looking to improve their special teams and to give themselves a little bit of depth at the possession receiver. He's 6'3". He's got some height. So, you know, there's nothing to say. Drew Stanton also officially signed with the team. So we got that going for us. And so
with the signing of Drew Stanton, are you guys still keeping Cody Kessler and Hogan, or are y'all going to cut one?
Kessler's gone.
Oh, okay.
God, do your homework. I mean, Cody Kessler, for God's sake. No, he's been traded to the Jacksonville Jaguars. What are you putting up there, Bronk?
It's a baseball card of Milton Bradley.
So I guess Mr. Dorsey didn't trust me. He didn't trust me.
No, Cody Kessler, gone. He is. Milton Bradley, I'm surprised the picture of him on the baseball card isn't him like having a temper tantrum or something. That's...
Okay, we could do the all psycho team, like name all the psycho Cleveland sports people over the years.
Albert Bell. We can take turns. How many psycho? Well, let's just go psycho Cleveland athletes.
Yeah, and whoever can't come up with one loses.
Yeah.
But going back to Albert Bell, I wish I could have called in on that show the other day. I was out and about, but yeah, it's hilarious. I saw on ESPN they had his mugshot on there, and somebody in the comment section was like, "Hey, when did Albert Bell turn into Fred Sanford?"
Yeah, you big dummy. Yeah. I mean, it was
that dude was a psycho. Remember, there was a fan heckling him in the crowd, and he actually baseball from like 50 feet away.
Oh, he was crazy guy, but
off the wall in the minor league game. He's just a nut job.
Worse than looking like Fred Sanford. He looked like Fred Sanford masturbating in public, and that
that's not a good look.
Yeah,
I didn't read the story. So was he really exposing himself or jerking?
Yeah,
off?
he really was. He was. Yeah, well, Joey.
I
know.
I'm pretty sure he's got his lawyer on standby, so he's going to pay a little hefty sum.
As far as nothing really new as far as the Browns and the draft is concerned, except it is interesting to see Kessler gone, Kaiser gone, Hogan, gone, all of them gone. I mean, dead man. Dead man. Oh man.
I interrupted you. You were like the Germans had just bombed Pearl Harbor.
Leave him alone. He's on a roll. This to me is like clearing out. I mean, I looked at who was gone. Those names came up, and then Danny Shelton. And, which is great for Cleveland because as long as Danny was living on the east side of Cleveland tilted the other way, but now it's even again. It's level.
Yeah, they ran out of food as well.
Damn almighty. So that's, and now we're getting this reporting from Cleveland.com. Headline, Huey Jackson's Pied Piper references are becoming a trend. God. Yeah, he's, it's not the first time Jackson has referred to someone as a rat-catching musician of folklore. Jackson has used the Pied Piper to describe Bengals quarterback Andy Dalton, Browns defensive coordinator Greg Williams, and the mythical ideal Browns quarterback. He's got a limited vocabulary. Leave Huey alone, and leave Brittany alone too. I mean,
fucking you, God.
So what does everybody want to talk about today? Does anybody have like?
I still want to play my crazy crazy Cleveland sports people game.
I don't know. I kind of wanted to talk about. Well, first I wanted to mention, since we're on the topic of baseball and football, I was wondering what you guys thought of them starting the season off in March. I actually kind of thought it was a really good idea, instead of being like April 1st and making the month feel longer. Then you just start on like March 28th. So that way you're kind of like 3 or 4 days into the season, and then you kind of just kick it off in April. You know, I was wondering if you guys agreed or disagreed.
No, I hate that it's starting this soon because the weather's too damn cold, and I don't think that it's being done. You know, has nothing to do with fan interest, because fans in lakefront communities where it gets blustery cold, these people are not going to come out to the stadium. And if they were doing this for fandom, they wouldn't be doing it this way. They would instead be doing what they could to get people out to the ballpark. This is all monetarily inspired, and
moms aren't going to take their 12-year-old kid out there when it's 40 degrees. It's just not going to happen.
You know what else, guys? I noticed that when I was watching the St. Louis Mets game yesterday, I know they have challenges, so that I already knew, but I had no idea they had mound visits. Like now, whenever you visit at the mound with your managers and everything, you now have a limit to how many times you can do that. I think it's 6 times you can do it in a game.
Trying to speed it up.
I like it.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. Donald Trump actually has also a limit with Stormy Daniels on mound visits, but that's
there you go.
Another story altogether. Yeah, they've been trying to speed up baseball since time immemorial. And, you know, it's like you can't stop the pitcher from throwing to first base 8,000 times, shaking off the pitcher 8,000 times. You can't stop Rafael Betancourt-like pitchers to stand there in between pitches for minutes at a time. I mean, what makes the game difficult to watch is that it is just slow.
Yeah, I do like the mound visits, the limit of mound visits, because there's some teams that were doing it like at least 20 times a game, and that's just like an extra hour worth of time added to the game at unnecessary mound visits. So I'm glad they put a stoppage to that. You know.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, all of it's redundant. You know, I say if you throw over to first base 5 times, you award the guy second because he guessed right 5 times in a row. I mean, you know, it's like. Yeah, what are you holding up now, Bronk?
One of my all-time favorite Indians, but this is when he was a Colorado Rocky.
Oh, is that Betancourt?
No, it's Ubaldo Jimenez.
Oh, Ubaldo.
You know, Mr. Moohead, what if they did this? What if they did it? If you throw the first base, you're only allowed to do it so many times, and after you do it, then it's kind of like how when you reach the 16th technical, every other technical you get suspended. Well, my idea is if you reach the limit, then the first baseman's automatically awarded the second, and then after that, it's every other time you do it, the first baseman goes to second base.
Well, I think nobody would do it then. Obviously, it would make for more stolen bases. And the art of the stolen base, which is what makes the Rajai Davis thing so ridiculous, is that only the Indians could be concerned with keeping a 37-year-old man on their roster because he can steal bases when stolen bases aren't even. I mean, talk to the Yankees about stolen bases, you know? You know, when they got Giancarlo Stanton swatting home runs and Judge swatting home runs, people trot around the bases today. They don't steal bases. We don't manufacture runs in baseball anymore. That's from a day gone by. And, you know, they're going to get concerned about that. Fine. I mean, there's indifference. The word indifference never even entered Major League Baseball until the era of steroids and home run hitting and juiced baseballs. You know, he got to second on indifference. You know,
it's like, yeah. Oh, I don't care.
Yeah, I know. Just give it to him. Give it to him. He's 37 years old. Give it to him, for God's sakes. Yeah.
Make it stop.
Now, meanwhile, the Philadelphia 76ers, it's a shame that our buddy isn't here.
Yeah. Poor old Embiid.
Yeah, 76ers, isn't Joel Embiid out for the year? He has surgery for his old.
Yeah. I mean, Embiid, he's gone to, about 3 or 4 weeks. They're saying 2 to 4 weeks. And boy, that is a big blow to a team that's fighting for a better slot in the playoffs.
I think this is going to also damage the integrity of the playoffs because so many superstars are out for every team. if one, like for example, for Cleveland, if it isn't already bad enough that they're being scrutinized for always, or LeBron always come out of the East, this year he finally has some competition, and now they're like, oh, well, he should win the East now because Embiid is out, Kyrie Irving is out, and John Wall may not be back in time, so he should win the East. So it's kind of like it kind of has that asterisk now. It's kind of like, oh, well, you were supposed to win because these guys didn't play, you know?
Yeah, and Ron Shames in the chat room saying Seattle's catcher, backup catcher, got whacked in the hand, thought it was more serious. He's not going to be whacking something. Yeah, he got nailed.
Oh, that looked painful.
Go ahead, Matt. I'm sorry.
Wasn't that Edwin Carcion that did that?
Yeah, well, the guy's glove was right out over. I mean, you don't do that. I mean, you know. My favorite one is when they swing so hard in the follow-through, they hit the catcher in the back of the helmet.
Yeah.
In the back of the mask. And that's like my favorite one. They pitch face first into the ground. That's like, it's a hell of a move.
I like when the umpire gets hit in the balls. Like sometimes they'll throw a ball and it'll go down, or either get hit by the bat at an angle, or it goes down, bounces up, and hits the umpire in the nuts.
Now, Amsterdam's making a very odd reference to the chat room. All right. Richard Gere, misspelled Gere, Amsterdam, worked for Fred Garvin. Did anybody pick up the reference?
Nope.
Fred Garvin, male prostitute. Yeah, okay. Saturday Night Live, Dan Aykroyd.
Fred Garvin. Yeah.
All right. Brian Hallman says, I'm an equine, but I'll do my best. He's a horse. All right. He's not a cow. But, you know, hey, you could be part of the Moo Too movement because we are diverse.
Barnyard animals are welcome. I'm a bronc, so.
And Brian Hallman saying, yeah, 46% completion percentage. Drew Stanton. Can't wait.
You know, this draft is coming right around the corner. I mean, we were talking about it weeks ago. It was 2 months away, and now we're only less than 4 weeks. By midnight tonight, we'll be 27 days away from the draft. So
it's like Christmas, isn't it?
General Dogs in the chat room saying Stanton is a mentor. He made a mistake. That's a typo. Stanton will live in Mentor. Okay.
My hometown.
He's also saying for the rookie, while Tyrod concentrates, he's a mentor for the rookie while Tyrod concentrates on running away from the defense.
Is something got a land shark knocking at the door?
Brian Hallman says it's time for that Moohead Classic game show. Guess the washed out baseball cards. Brought to you by Bronx Borax and Susan News. Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Moohead, how long is Kevin Love out for? I don't mean to switch gears on you, but
he is questionable for tonight. But I have a feeling they might hold him out tonight, and he will probably play the next game. He is still technically under the concussion protocol.
Yeah.
It's not the tooth at this point. Although that jeopardizes his Banana Republic shoots, it's the concussion. So we're waiting for him to exit the concussion protocol. He was at shoot around this morning, for what that's worth.
Is that cow going on the grill?
On the grill is fish tonight. That's a smoker. And here in the South, man, you're in South Carolina, you got to have a smoker, boy.
Where are you at in South Carolina?
In the foothills, man. I am like an hour south of Asheville and about beautiful. 45 minutes north of Greenville, South Carolina.
Nice. Yeah, I got family in Greenville. I love it out there.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, right up in like Paris Mountain. You know where
Oh my God, you're kidding.
Yeah, it's awesome out there. I love it.
Yeah, it's a small world. Yeah. Yeah, we love it out here. We spend a good 7 months of the year out here, and you know,
when it gets too humid in Florida, you get out, huh?
Well, we actually got out before that happened this year. It's a little bit chilly outside, but we just love it here. The spring season is so nice because everything's blooming, and you can get mauled to death up here in the mountains by a bear. It's really awesome. It's just really.
Sorry about that, Pounding. They're putting a new roof on my apartment here, and it's like right above me is where they're working.
I was wondering. I thought maybe that you were a stunt double for an S&M movie that was being filmed upstairs. I
thought that was the Raven.
Christ.
Nevermore.
Oh, well, if you have to explain the jokes, they're not funny.
I know it's an Edgar Allan Poe reference, and people, poor Matt is sitting there going,
"Huh?
Edgar Allan Poe?
What university did Edgar Allan Poe go to?
Edgar Allan Poe. The School of Hard Knocks.
Yeah, I was
just
just
very
watching
famous
Allan Poe
university.
documentaries the other day.
Man, they don't do this all night, do they?
No, but these assholes, they've even been doing it on the weekend too. They'll start like 8 a.m. I'm like, what the fuck?
Good Friday, man. Tell them to stop.
What you
Jesus
do
says stop.
Turn on your TV, turn on the HGTV network, all those flipping renovation shows, and just fucking turn it up as loud as you can. So like fucking power saws on your TV will drown them out.
Hey, so guys, were there any baseball games that y'all watched yesterday that were really entertaining? That y'all
Man does have a sense of humor, doesn't he?
Anyway, Edgar Allan Poe was a Cavalier. He went to University of Virginia.
Oh, okay.
So
Thanks for that. No, as a matter of fact, Stephen, I have not. I did not watch baseball yesterday. I watched the Indians, some of it, and I went to sleep because it was very, sleep-inducing. And I knew all I was going to hear about was, the ESPN was going to be the fluffer for the New York Yankees organization. So I really wasn't going to, it's so early, and it's just, I want to see how it all. I'm more interested. Corey Kluber pitched a great game and lost, but I know Corey Kluber can pitch great games. I'm more interested, like Matt is, in seeing, the bullpen. What are they going to do when they have to come into the game? And are we going to be able to get more innings out of Clevenger? They're wanting 200 innings out of Clevenger when he's had, arm trouble during the course of his career. So I'm more interested in seeing the depth of the starting lineup and how the back end holds up than I am making rushes to judgments about the Indians' offense or things of that nature. Because I think the real weakness in this team is we have a great finishing bullpen, but we do not have a middle innings kind of bullpen. And the question is, how many innings can we get out of Bauer and Clevenger, who tend to have games when they're not throwing a lot of strikes and they tend to run up pitches? If they have to come out of a game in the fifth inning, what gets us to the eighth and ninth?
I think we'll be okay. I think the outfield's the problem. I definitely don't like the outfield.
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way. But, I mean, what are you going to do? Yeah. Let's see what we have here. Brian Hallman is saying the LAPD is conducting SWAT exercises upstairs.
Fucking assholes, man. I tell you.
All right. The Cavaliers, well, we did get mentioned Kevin Love. I'll tell you something. Every game that goes by, I mean, I was forced to watch because here, we're in the Charlotte Hornets media, the footprint, right?
Footprint.
That's the word. And thank you, Braun. The footprint, and which means I can't get sports. Fox Sports Ohio's broadcast. It gets blacked out. I got to watch the Hornets announcing team. That whole.
They're pretty funny. I've seen them.
I'll tell you what was really pathetic is there were two things going on for this game. One is that Kemba Walker was going for the franchise lead all time in points scored. Del Curry, Steph's dad, was the leading scorer, and that's a sad commentary on basketball there. If Del Curry is your career scoring leader, he was a wonderful shooter, don't get me wrong, but but Kemba Walker had scored.
Gives perspective on that. That'd be like if Fred Whitfield was leading the Indians in all-time home runs.
Yeah, I mean, Del Curry is a pretty forgettable player, and but here's the deal. Kemba Walker had to score 20 points to be the all-time franchise scoring leader. Well, they were treating this like it was the biggest thing in the world. And in the bottom right-hand part of the screen, consuming a large portion of the screen, it would have the score of the game, and it was on nonstop. They didn't take it off and put it on, take it off and put it on. It was there the whole game saying,
Kemba.
this is how many points Del Curry scored. This is how many so far in his career that Kemba Walker scored. So each time Kemba would make a point, it would change, you know. And meanwhile, we're missing camera angles from fucking corner threes because this big blob graphic is in the lower right-hand side of the screen. And the announcers, I mean, their assholes were lubed with WD-40, so that, Michael Jordan and their organization could ass pump them. And that's all they were talking about, literally, was, and every time he touched the ball and shot it, Kemba, and no good. Kemba, no good. And, meanwhile, what they weren't talking about is LeBron James had a chance to tie Michael Jordan's record of scoring 10 or more points in successive games, which he did, and no mention of that. And the leading scorer in history for the Charlotte Hornets is now Kemba Walker. So he did get what he was looking for, and the announcing team got what they were looking for. But who wasn't at the game? Michael Jordan, the owner. He didn't even show up, the fucking coward. Fucking coward. What a fucking pussy. I mean,
he's a puss.
He is dropped to second. We're number 2. Michael Jordan, give it up. Give it up. You're nowhere near as good as LeBron. This is the distance between you and number 3. And this is the distance between you and LeBron. LeBron is the one up here, okay? LeBron is topping you, Michael.
I saw a parody the other day where Michael Jordan and LeBron were on the phone texting each other, and he said, "Hey, I got 3," and then Jordan said, "I got 6." That makes you half the man I am. And I said, "Oh, that was kind of funny."
Yeah, well, but here's the thing. I couldn't believe that there was no mention of that and that Jordan intentionally stayed away. And if you look at the games that LeBron plays in certain places, like Chicago, he's broken Chicago's heart so many times because Jordan played there. And he does it in front of Jordan in that building in Charlotte, 41, 10, and 8. In that game. I mean, it was mind-boggling, the things that he was doing. He took control of that game in the second quarter. And, I mean, he was dunking the ball. He was throwing in threes. He was throwing in runners and ones and rebounding and assisting. And, I mean, it was just like a menagerie of all of his skills. And yeah, and Jordan wasn't even there to see it because he's a pussy and he won't own up to the fact that he's no longer the greatest player who ever.
So, Mr. Moohead, I had a question to ask you about Jordan.
Yep.
Doesn't it seem like that he's going to go down as one of the worst GM owners of all time? Since he was a GM at Washington, the year and a half he was there, and then if you look at his 8 years in Charlotte, he's had 3 playoff appearances. They got swept in every round except for the one against, I think, Miami. They lost in 7. And the funny thing is, they said he hasn't even won 200 games yet, and he's already at almost 450 losses as an owner. It's terrible.
Well, he is an absentee owner in my mind. Yeah. He's a guy. I think the NBA wanted to keep him as an iconic legend, and so he got, into that situation to own that franchise. And if he weren't the second greatest player to ever play in the NBA, if he was not, and in many people's minds, he was the greatest. So I'll be balanced and fair about this, although I will tell you over and over again, he is the second greatest who's ever played the game. Still, that's what people remember him for. And nobody attacks Michael Jordan about what a lousy job he's done in Charlotte. It is incredible. They're inept.
And Mr. Moohead, nobody even talks about Jordan when they're over there. Like you would think 10 or 15 years ago, if the legendary Jordan owned a team, everyone would be like, "Oh, where's Jordan at? I want to get his autograph or talk to the guy and learn from him." But it's like players go there, they're just like they just look at him as just like another person. Like that.
He never offered help to anybody. When he went into the Hall of Fame, he was bitter. He just ripped on guys like Karl Malone and John Stockton. He ripped on people. He's a bitter guy, and he's not the kind of person who really made any friends while he was playing or after he stopped playing. You want to know what the fans think of Michael Jordan in Charlotte? I'll tell you. In that game, if you watch the Cavaliers beat the Hornets and LeBron put on a show, when LeBron went to the free throw line, the Charlotte fans were chanting MVP, MVP for LeBron James. And Michael Jordan, of course, was not there to hear it.
And they gave him a standing O when Chetty Osman came in to replace him at the end of the game.
Yep. And that's not just Cleveland fans who happen to live in Charlotte, folks. That's people who paid to see LeBron James, not Kemba Walker. They paid to see LeBron James. So
I hate to say it, I actually do kind of starting to believe that LeBron is better than Jordan, like all around, as an all-around player, you know?
LeBron, they say he was more comparable to Magic Johnson, but the truth of the matter is he does everything better than Johnson. He's above the rim. He's faster. You know, and he wins with less, because we never knew that about Magic Johnson, because he jumped right into the Jabbar era with Worthy and all that. He was the draft pick that came in as a rook into the Showtime Lakers. But LeBron, my God, he's winning with what on the court? With Rodney Dudd and you know, George Hill. I thought I saw George Hill today. He couldn't make a shot. Joan Baez reference, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, it's well before everyone's time.
Yeah. I don't know. Watching LeBron James play is just such a treat for me, because it's watching history, and I don't care. The Cavaliers they're not going to go far. We didn't get a chance to talk about that horrible loss in Miami. Miami came out playing extremely physically, and the referees allowed the physical play. Cleveland did not step up, and that does not speak well for the Cavaliers come playoff time, because the officials are going to allow that kind of stuff.
Love got hit in the first 2 minutes. I think that kind of killed off the whole game, really, because the team was on a downer after that.
Didn't help them, but I mean, they got muscled, they got out physical, and that shouldn't happen.
Did you see Dwayne Wade played one of his best games of the year? He like blocked LeBron from behind and then blocked him again later on.
Yeah, from what I understand, that's the way Wade likes it. He likes to get him from behind. So, you know.
Well, no, like Dwayne Wade, for some reason in Miami, it seems like he just plays with a lot more energy. Like you can clearly see it.
That was just one game, but yeah, he was playing harder that game, definitely.
Yeah, well, he certainly did have motivation. I think that's for sure. And that game from the get-go was a physical game, and the Cavaliers were not prepared, and they better be prepared, because that's what playoff basketball is all about. I'm trying to find out as we speak about Kevin Love.
That was appalling. Did they even call anything on that? I don't even think they called him.
No, he led with his elbow, and you know that's what happens. And if you're wondering, LeBron is set to break Michael Jordan's record. So that's what's on view tonight. Corver is definitely out. I'm still seeing Love is questionable, but that's going to be a game time decision based on protocol, concussion protocol. So I have no information on that for y'all. So.
Well, here's a question for the panel. Do you think the team's playing better for Drew than they will for Tyronn Lue?
Well, Lou is going to be watching the game today, which is pretty much what he's done all year.
Done his entire career here.
Did you guys hear that report the other day? And maybe you guys already touched on it the last show. Whereas the guy, I don't know who it is, Drew, that's sitting in. I guess he's not making any of the calls. I guess Lou has been on the phone with him, telling them what plays to run, and it just doesn't make any sense. Like totally taking the power away from the guy that's in there while he's supposed to be recovering. Did you guys hear that or no?
No.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, like he went to Lou's house, allegedly, and then Lou had ran some plays with him and told him, like, I want you to run this and that. Like,
even up to tip-off, they said that Lou's, like, you know, implemented the game plan and he, like, had to adhere to it. So I found that a little effed up.
Yeah, and this just breaking former Redskins quarterback Mark Rippon, Browns fans know him well, the MVP of the Super Bowl, says he once tried to kill himself, the result of mental health issues stemming from playing football. He detailed this on KHQ television, giving it out in Spokane, Washington. I suffer from a complex stew of mental health conditions, Rippon said. Dark places, depression, anxiety, addictions, poor choices, poor decisions, brought about from dozens of concussions and thousands of subconcussive injuries from playing football. So, to add another name, another log to the fire here, and these names are going to be more and more familiar to fans because we watch them all play.
Yeah, unfortunate, Matt. What do y'all guys think about the new helmet rule where you're not allowed to lean in with the helmet anymore? There's 15-yard penalty.
What is the exact definition? Where they're saying you're not allowed to lean in. They're saying head-to-head was before. They're saying now that you cannot contact. They said you can't lead with your head. So what's different?
What does that really mean? I mean,
I'm a little confused about it.
Sometimes you'll have players go towards the ground, then you'll have a player try to land on top of him with the leaning in with the head. So they're trying to eliminate unnecessary plays like that.
I thought
they're trying to protect the guy who's making the illegal hit. That makes sense in football,
If you're going by the letter of the law, they say it's even the offensive player. So if the running back even puts his head down at all to brace for the hit, that technically could be flagged. So they say in theory you could be looking at like 30 flags a game for that. So they got to have discretion with how they really do. Okay, they collided heads, but it obviously there was no malintent there because the game will last forever.
So I guess they're trying to say you have to tackle upward now or tackle using your hands more? I don't know.
What's the running back going to do? The running back's going to run straight up? No, of course he's going to put his shoulder down, his head down.
Well, they have changed the catch rule again. We knew that was going to happen. It's a mess.
I like the 3 steps. If you make 3 steps, that's part of the process. Or if it's controlled for like 2.5 seconds or something, they added some extra stipulations, but I like the 3 steps. The 3 steps is good because you take 3 steps, that's a catch.
Yeah, to me, the whole thing is a mess because what happens is you change these rules to these mealy-mouth rules, and then, it comes down to the official on the field who has to make the call. And, of course, if he's been paid by the New England Patriots, and this is the way it goes. It goes all the time. Yeah, the Patriots and Steelers will always get the benefit of the doubt, and it really is lame to say the least.
Well, that Heath touchdown, or the James touchdown from Pittsburgh, the tight end.
Yes,
they were saying that if his knee's down and the ball stretches over, it's a touchdown even though the ball turned.
If you stretch, that's considered a football move, so that would be the catch.
Yeah,
but a lot of experts are saying that you're going to see a lot more of those, that like the end of that Minnesota game where that safety came in. They said because guys are just going to be hesitating. They're like, I don't want to have a costly penalty coming in with my head, and the guy whiffed and missed. That was the end of the game. So, man, it's just taking football out of football, and especially now they're talking about the potential of eliminating the kickoff. If they do that, it's like I don't even almost.
So if they eliminate the kickoff, what are they going to do? They're just going to start you at the 25.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Let's see what's being talked about. Daktar says, never liked MJ from the Bulls to the Wizards. I never liked him. Ron Shane said, James is number 1 on and off the court. And also, how could Miami win 14 games in a row against the Cavs? It's a good question. We just can't play in that building. We also can't win in Utah. It's the same thing. Those 2 places we just don't want to be.
Hate LeBron to face the Jazz in the finals.
Oh God, fucking kryptonite, man, fucking kryptonite. Yeah, if they have the home court advantage, Utah wins. It's like
the Cavs don't play well at altitude. I think they don't play well in Utah. They don't play all that well in Denver. They don't play mountainous areas.
Like what, 9 years or 10 years?
They don't play well on Sundays either after they've been partying all night on Saturdays. I realize that, too. That's another part of all
12 noon Sunday starts are killers.
Are you guys beating the Pelicans tonight?
I don't know. If Kevin Love plays, maybe not. If he's not, we're going to need points to beat that team. We're going to need some points, and it's hard. because Corver's not playing, and that's points coming off the bench for us. We're going to have to try to find, and now they're saying that J.R. Smith was sick and is questionable for the game.
Probably high.
Yeah, Pukey, I think.
Yeah, but he played a good game last game. He was one of the reasons we won. He was taking the ball to the basket and doing what he was supposed to do for a change. So that's that. I've spoken my piece here. Well, everyone gets to say one thing before they get out. We'll start with Matt. He's been so quiet because the Indians game was a dud. And it's like, we want to talk about the Indians when we hit like 6 home runs in a game. So you start, Matt. What's your final word?
Well, it's just one game. We'll bounce back once April ends.
Yeah, once April. We got to sit through a bunch of games, probably however many damn games it is. What is it, like 20 games of us playing subpar baseball every year? We're used to it. All right, Michael, final word?
I'm just really excited as we're inching closer to the draft. Next time I jump on, maybe I'll tell you a little interesting story about how I developed a personal relationship with Jimmy Haslam since the year he bought the team. So I'll fill you in next time I call in.
Is that something that could come about as part of a lawsuit later with video and films and all that?
It could be. It could be.
Owner.
Yeah, we'll be waiting with bated breath for that. Steven, final word.
Hey,
I'm really excited for the upcoming draft. The NBA playoffs is up, and then, of course, you got baseball season. So we're going to have a lot to talk about on the next episodes, especially on Monday coming up.
Absolutely. And Bronk, final word.
Oh, every year I say this, the Indians will go 500 during April, then maybe get a lot better as the season goes along.
All right, my final word before everybody leaves the room. Everybody in this room and everybody on the internet watching this program has to kiss my hoof. All right?
Why?
Kiss my fucking hoof. Because from day one, I told everybody in the world countless times that Isaiah Thomas had to have surgery, that the injury that he sustained could not possibly heal through conservative treatment.
Correct.
When you have a hip impingement, you need an arthroscopic procedure, or what they now call minimally invasive.
Yeah, good call on that for sure. I remember.
Yep. And it bothers the hell out of me, the shit that I took on social media for suggesting such a thing. And I told you that Isaiah would try to bleed every bit of attention that he could for himself to see if he could come back selfishly. And when it became apparent that he wouldn't be able to do it, he would end up at the end of the season opting for surgery, because now that's the only way that he's going to get any payday whatsoever. And let me tell you something else. He ain't going to get shit for a payday.
He's done.
He's still damaged good.
So he's waiting for the Brinks truck to back up?
Yep, and it's going to back up over him. That's what's going to happen. The squad.
Oh, yeah.
So my final word is Isaiah Thomas made no friends in Cleveland. He's made no friends in Los Angeles. Don't believe what the Lakers are saying. Oh, yeah, we'd consider signing him as a free agent. Yeah, for a nickel and a dime for a stick of gum. But no one's going to pay him the kind of money that Isaiah Thomas wants. And he'll be lucky to end up back in Sacramento a little bit.
But Isaiah and LeBron not seeing eye to eye on a lot of things, especially because Isaiah don't want to play off the ball. If LeBron hypothetically went to the Lakers, what do you think the chances of the Lakers re-signing Isaiah?
No chance. There's no chance of him.
Well, I guarantee you. I mean, that would be a funny thing to do a LeBron tracker in the offseason. And so what we're doing is following Isaiah, and where Isaiah goes, that's definitely one off the list that LeBron won't go to. Yeah.
Mr. Moohead, right before you left, do you remember the game in was it Orlando, I think, where Isaiah Thomas would, he was supposed to set the pick for LeBron, but he would run out hoping to get the ball. And he got pissed off because LeBron would drive the ball in instead of dishing it to his little midget ass.
Yeah. I mean, the little midget fuck is a guy who made no friends no matter where he's gone. He made no friends in Sacramento. He made no friends in Boston. It turns out that the teammates didn't like him in Boston. The front office didn't like him. They traded him for that reason. And really the same reason that the Cavaliers got sick of Kyrie Irving and his fucking knee and his fucking father and his fucking earth is flat bullshit. I mean, let's be honest about this. I mean, all of these people did not make friends. And, you know, for all Boston fans who were riding high, I know. Gordon Hayward, I know. The guy, it was a bad break early in the season. But you know something? Kyrie Irving is getting surgery on his knee. It may not be perfect. May not be perfect. Don't be surprised if he decides to go someplace else if things don't pan out for the Celtics in the playoffs. Good. Don't be surprised. These guys are so self-driven, so me-only oriented that, you know, nothing is a given in the world of free agency anymore in the NBA. All right. Before they pound through my wall here, we got to get out of here.
Yeah. I before we, but there ain't no we either.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining me on the program today. Appreciate it. We'll be back again on Monday. All right.
Adios, fellas.
All right. Take it easy, guys. And that's it for this edition of Moohead Radio. Thanks a lot. Fish is getting ready on the smoker, so I'm going to be going out and getting it. And until next time, hasta la vista, Pastor Heads. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
Well, you know.